Buenas noches. Good evening. Welcome to Argentina, a land of vibrant culture, passionate people, and a rather unique relationship with money. Here, the peso's value is as unpredictable as the weather, and just as likely to ruin your day. Imagine waking up and finding that your savings have lost a significant chunk of their value overnight. That's a common occurrence here. Here, hyperinflation isn't just a headline. It's not some abstract economic concept you read about in textbooks. It's a daily reality. It dictates how people shop, save, and even think about their future. Your morning coffee might cost one amount, only to find that by lunchtime, the price has surged, making it feel like a luxury. It might cost as much as lunch by afternoon. The peso is in free fall, constantly losing ground against other currencies, especially the US dollar, and the government's solution, printing more money in a desperate attempt to stimulate the economy, only exacerbates the problem and makes things worse. It's a vicious cycle. The largest bill, the 1,000 peso note, which once seemed like a substantial amount, barely buys a coffee these days. It's a stark illustration of the peso's diminished purchasing power. Saving in pesos? That's a risky proposition. A gamble against inflation. It's like watching your money melt away before your very eyes. Consequently, most people avoid thinking in pesos at all, preferring to mentally convert prices and values into a more stable currency. The US dollar is the real king here, the undisputed champion of value and stability. It's an economic life raft everyone clings to, a safe haven in a sea of financial uncertainty. From real estate transactions to salary negotiations, the dollar is the true benchmark, the yardstick by which everything else is measured. The peso is a hot potato, something to be gotten rid of as quickly as possible. Everyone wants to swap it for something, anything of real value, whether it's goods, services, or ideally, those coveted US dollars. To truly understand Argentina's money mess, this intricate web of economic challenges, you have to understand its complicated, often illicit love affair with the greenback, a relationship that has shaped the country's economic destiny. This is the story of a country where the currency is always on the run, constantly chasing after stability and value in a world of economic uncertainty. Let's put the peso's collapse in perspective. It's not just a dip, it's a free fall. We're talking about a currency that has lost almost all of its value in a relatively short amount of time. To truly grasp the magnitude of this economic event, we need to rewind a few years and see where it all began. This isn't just about numbers on a screen, it's about the real-life impact on everyday Argentinians. Back in 2016, one US dollar got you 16 pesos. 16 pesos for a single dollar, a rate that seems almost unbelievable now. This was a time when the Argentine economy, while not perfect, was relatively stable compared to the chaos we see today. People could plan, save, and invest with a reasonable degree of certainty. Today, that number is so high it looks like a typo. You might think someone accidentally added an extra zero, but no, that's the reality. The peso has plummeted to such depths that it's hard to even fathom the scale of the devaluation. It's a financial shock that reverberates through every aspect of Argentine society. Those old 20 peso bills, remember them? They used to buy you something, maybe a small treat or a bus ride. Now, they're just bookmarks, or maybe kindling. Their value has eroded to the point where they are more useful as placeholders in a book than as actual currency. It's a stark illustration of the peso's demise. Triple-digit inflation means prices change weekly, sometimes more frequently. Imagine going to the grocery store and finding that the price of your favorite bread has doubled since last week, sometimes daily. Store owners are forced to constantly update their price tags, a Sisyphean task in the face of relentless inflation. It's a constant struggle to keep up, and consumers are left reeling. Your salary loses value before you can spend it. You get paid on Friday, and by Monday, your money is worth significantly less. It's a demoralizing situation that makes it incredibly difficult to plan for the future. Saving in pesos is like storing grain in a silo full of mice. The mice in this case are inflation, constantly gnawing away at your savings. Any attempt to build a financial cushion is quickly undermined by the relentless devaluation of the currency. Argentinians now think in two currencies. It's a dual reality, a constant mental calculation between the rapidly depreciating peso and the relatively stable US dollar. Pesos for daily needs, the small transactions, the everyday expenses that keep life moving, dollars for anything important, rent, cars, savings, the big ticket items, the investments, the things that represent long-term security. the dollar has become a refuge from the storm of economic instability. The government's answer? What's their solution to this economic crisis? How are they attempting to address the peso's collapse and the rampant inflation? Print more money, fueling the fire, a classic case of treating the symptom instead of the disease. Flooding the market with more pesos only exacerbates the problem, further devaluing the currency and driving inflation even higher. The result? A currency no one trusts, not even the government. The peso has become a symbol of broken promises and failed policies. The lack of confidence in the currency is palpable, creating a vicious cycle of devaluation and instability. The peso is now a symbol of economic mismanagement, a stark reminder of the consequences of unsustainable policies and a lack of fiscal responsibility. It's a cautionary tale for other nations. Its decline is the daily drama of Argentine life. It's not just an abstract economic concept. It's a lived experience that affects every aspect of people's lives, from what they can afford to eat to their ability to plan for the future. Every transaction is a race against time and inflation, a constant scramble to spend money before it loses its value. It's a stressful and exhausting way to live. The search for stability drives everyone to the dollar. It's a desperate attempt to preserve their wealth and protect themselves from the ravages of inflation. The dollar has become a safe haven in a sea of economic uncertainty. The peso's tragic fall is the backdrop to every decision. From the mundane to the monumental, every choice is filtered through the lens of the peso's instability. It's a constant source of anxiety and uncertainty, shaping the lives of Argentinians in profound ways. Think getting dollars is easy? Not in Argentina. There isn't just one exchange rate. There's a whole menu. The official rate is a fantasy, reserved for the well-connected. There's the tourist rate, the dollar Qatar, the dollar tarjeta, the dollar MEP, each with its own rules and taxes. The real action happens in the parallel market, where supply and demand set the price. The gap between official and street rates can be over 100%. This system punishes rule followers and rewards those in the grey market. Every international transaction is a bureaucratic headache. The many exchange rates aren't sophistication. They're a sign of a broken system. In Argentina, even the dollar has an identity crisis. Want the real exchange rate in Argentina? Forget what the banks tell you. Head to the dollar blue, the black market rate. It's not just some shady back alley deal. It's the rate everyone actually uses, from tourists to locals. It's the open secret of the Argentine economy. Cuevas, or caves, are unofficial exchange houses, often hiding in plain sight. They might look like ordinary shops, but behind closed doors, they're dealing in a currency game that reflects the true value of the peso. You hand over your crisp, clean dollars, no questions asked about where they came from, and in return, you get a mountain of pesos, enough to make you feel like a millionaire, at least until you start spending them. No paperwork, no invasive questions about your financial history. The blue rate can be double, sometimes even more, than the official one, a stark illustration of the economic realities on the ground, making it the obvious choice, and often the only viable one, for locals trying to make ends meet and tourists looking to stretch their travel budget. Risks? Sure, there's always the chance of counterfeit bills circulating, and the market is prone to wild fluctuations based on political news and economic anxieties. But most cuevas rely on reputation and word of mouth. They thrive on trust, built over years of reliable service. The blue market isn't some fringe activity relegated to the shadows. It's a mainstream economic force, driving prices and shaping financial decisions across the country. Everyone, from economists to ordinary citizens, watches the blue rate with hawk-like attention. It's the barometer of the Argentine economy. When it spikes, supermarket prices inevitably follow, reflecting the increased cost of goods and services in a rapidly inflating economy. The blue dollar is arguably the truest reflection of the peso's real value, a more accurate indicator than any government-controlled figure. It's a volatile market, driven by rumor, speculation, and often sheer panic, rather than sound economic fundamentals. The government's official rate is often seen as a work of fiction, a number divorced from the everyday reality of Argentine life. In contrast, the blue rate is reality, the price you actually pay, the value that dictates your purchasing power. In Argentina, the street sets the rules and the dollar blue is the language it speaks. It's a parallel economy operating in plain sight, a testament to the country's unique financial landscape. The gap between official and blue rates splits Argentina in two. Paradise for tourists, struggle for locals. Tourists with dollars find luxury on a budget. steak dinners, fancy apartments, all for a fraction of the price back home. But this bargain is built on local hardship. For Argentinians earning pesos, inflation erodes wages while prices chase the dollar. What's cheap for visitors is a luxury for locals. The cost of living is crushing and daily life is a financial tightrope. Cash discounts abound. Dollars are king, taxes are dodged. The two-tiered system highlights a stark inequality, a playground for some, a grind for others. Argentina's economic crisis is a tale of two realities. Daily life in Argentina is financial gymnastics. Housing, most rentals are priced in dollars, not pesos. If the blue rate jumps, your rent can skyrocket overnight while your salary stays the same. A modest apartment can swallow an entire monthly wage. Only a lucky few earn in dollars. Most watch their peso salaries shrink. Many juggle multiple jobs or hustle in the informal economy just to get by. Saving for a car or home? Forget it. Even groceries and eating out are stressful. Prices change so fast. Some restaurants use QR codes to update menus daily. Every purchase is a gamble: buy now or wait and risk paying more. The constant flux is exhausting. In Argentina, stability is a luxury few can afford. Argentina is a land of parallel universes. For tourists, Buenos Aires is vibrant, affordable, and full of life. Dollars unlock a world of luxury. The city's energy is infectious, and it's easy to think things aren't so bad. But beneath the surface, locals face daily anxiety, juggling bills, fearing eviction, and making tough choices. The average salary barely covers basics. Dreams of home ownership are replaced by survival. The tourist's bargain is the local's burden. The contrast is Argentina's central paradox: world-class destination, perpetual crisis. The same forces that make it cheap for outsiders make it hard for insiders. To see only the tourist's paradise is to miss the real story. Argentina's resilience is found in its people, not its prices. With the peso in freefall, Argentina debates drastic solutions. Dollarization, adopting the US dollar, promises instant stability and an end to inflation. But it means surrendering control to the US Federal Reserve with no way to adjust policy for local needs. Redenomination, chopping zeros off the peso, is a cosmetic fix that's failed before. Neither option addresses the root problem, a lack of fiscal discipline and public trust. Sticking with the peso seems untenable, but dollarization is a risky leap. Other countries have tried it, often with mixed results. The only certainty: the current chaos can't last. Something has to change, but no one knows what will work. Argentina stands at a crossroads, with no easy answers. The future of its money and its people hangs in the balance. Despite the chaos, Argentina's spirit endures. People adapt, joke about their economic woes, and lean on family and friends. Solidarity is a survival tool. Community networks fill the gaps left by failing institutions. Ingenuity is everywhere. Side hustles, creative workarounds, and a thriving informal economy. The rebusque, the art of the side gig, is a way of life. It's not about getting rich, but staying afloat. The real story isn't just about money. It's about resilience, warmth, and finding joy amid uncertainty. Argentinians fill cafes, debate politics, and embrace life with passion. The peso's future is uncertain, but the people's resilience is priceless. Good night.